Recently, many places in Guangdong, Guangxi, and Jiangxi provinces in southern China suffered heavy rainfall, which triggered flooding in many cities. From the evening of May 19 to the afternoon of May 20, several cities in Guangdong, a coastal province of China, were hit by heavy rainfall. One city, Shaoguan, experienced torrential downpour with 230 millimeters of rain in some areas. As a result, many parts of Shaoguan's urban area were flooded and some experienced river backups, delaying trains passing through Shaoguan. By the morning of the 20th, a total of 9 sections of 4 national and provincial roads in the city were interrupted by landslides and flooding. At present, all schools in the city have been closed. By 6 p.m. on the evening of the 20th, Shaoguan had more than 16,000 people affected, more than 1,400 people evacuated, more than 700 houses damaged, and nearly 4,300 hectares of crops affected, with the direct economic losses amounting to 960 million RMB. Another city in Guangdong Province, Qingyuan, was also hit by heavy rainfall and caused flash floods. The city streets were flooded and a large number of cars were submerged in water. Another heavily hit province, Jiangxi, is located inland with the Yangtze River crossing it. Continuous heavy rainfall has impacted 7 of its cities. A total of 102,000 people are affected, over 4,000 people evacuated, with direct economic losses amounting to 100 million RMB. According to the Jiangxi Provincial Hydrological Monitoring Center, on May 22, due to the impact of continued heavy rain, the Gan River, which runs through the province and is the 7th largest tributary of the Yangtze River, its No.1 flood of the year, has formed in the middle reaches.
我们是从5月18号开始泄洪，泄洪量达到了788百万立方米。现在的水位是53，距离警戒水位还有3.5米。在接下来的时间里，我们会及时掌握水情。
The provincial weather station issued another blue warning for heavy rain on the 21st and indicated that in the next few days, many cities in this province will also experience heavy to severe rain. On May 20, a city in Henan province of central China was hit by a storm and hailstorm in the afternoon. In addition, Guangxi, a province in southwest China, is experiencing heavy rainfall. Last summer, many areas of China, including the above-mentioned regions, experienced severe flooding due to intensive heavy rainfall. According to the official records in China, the number of people affected exceeded 2.6 million. As China begins its flood season this year, starting in late May, it seems that heavy flooding will repeat itself throughout the year. Heavy rainfall is an essential driver of flooding, but some overseas water experts believe that the irregularity of urban construction in China is also an important factor. German water expert Wang Weiluo pointed out that there are some misconceptions in China's urban planning. In Chinese urban planning, rivers are planned beautifully, with concrete on both sides, narrowing the rivers and adding many artificial rivers. These rivers have no way out, and when it rains, it can only go up. He explained that in the last century, Germany experienced many urban floods. Hamburg, Cologne, and other major cities suffered heavy losses as a result. After years of study, the German government and experts found that the main problem was Germany's long-term canalization of rivers, cutting bends and straightening them, which drastically reduced the floodplain. The banks of rivers were built with concrete, reducing the wetlands and water networks along the rivers. These factors have reduced the flood storage capacity of rivers, and once the water rises, it will threaten the safety of the city. Wang introduced Cologne's experience in managing urban flooding after the 1990s. The renaturalization of rivers, restoring the S-shape of rivers, knocking down the concrete channels, and rolling back the riverbanks, they are all set to leave enough space for water. At the same time, Germany also restricts the cementing of urban land to improve the land's capacity to accept rainwater and prohibits the construction of houses in the floodplain. Back in 2010, a survey conducted by a government department in China revealed that 213 of the country's 351 cities, accounting for 62% of the total, had experienced waterlogging. 10 years later, the situation has not improved. Many times, China's cities have been flooded, causing damage to property and people and even loss of life for many. But few city officials have been held accountable for this. The impervious surface area of China's cities continues to grow at an annual rate of 6.5%. For example, Wuhan, a city with severe flooding, had more than 200 lakes in 2002, according to the China Water Affairs Bureau. 10 years later, there were only 160 lakes left. Those disappearing fastest are the central urban area, with only 38 of the 127 lakes now remaining. According to this trend, the ability of Chinese cities to self-regulate has been declining subsequently. Flooding problems have to rely more on artificial drainage systems. For a long time, the drainage system in Chinese cities has been designed according to the former Soviet standard, and the drainage capacity of sewers in most cities is designed according to the once-a-year standard. Only a small number of areas meet the standard of 1 in 5 year encounter. For example, in the capital city of Beijing, it is to accommodate 36 millimeters of rain per hour. Beyond this amount, Beijing's drainage system cannot cope with it, and the roads become waterlogged. In contrast, the minimum standard set by countries such as Europe, America, and Japan is usually at 5 or 10 years. In China, construction of all kinds always takes precedence over the design of the drainage network. When there is a contradiction between the two construction projects, the project that can create GDP always comes first. In contrast, the water conservancy project that requires a lot of investment in human and material resources are moved to the back of the line. In 2013, the Chinese government issued drainage planning requirements for cities, such as mandating that the central area of 36 large and medium-sized cities, including provincial capitals, can effectively handle rainstorms of no less than a 50-year event. But government officials in various regions have always preferred projects that the public or their superiors can see. It is difficult to motivate these officials to work on projects like sewer pipes that are hard for their bosses to see. And since flood management involves so many surrounding cities and waters, it's hard to imagine that bureaucrats in China, who are keen to weave a web of connections to advancement and wealth, would make real efforts to negotiate and cooperate on these issues and reach consensus.